Now, before we get started, what myth have you heard about careers? You hear some myth that you must have your degree should be the determining factor of the career path that you choose. How many of you hear that you have to go to college before you can get a job, a particular position that works, what I'm curious, what other stories you've heard that you later on found out that was a big lie? So we have someone watching from Baltimore. Okay, we have Congo. We have, I had to learn my maps. Now I'm looking at the flags here. South Africa, that's beautiful. That's awesome. That's awesome. Again, please share the live with anyone you think will benefit from this. Okay. Yes, someone saying, yeah, certain career paths are a guaranteed success. I know, right? Gabon, yes. Thank you. Welcome. Our sister Phyllis, thank you. Ghana is in the house. Yes. Yes, we are back live here. Awesome. Awesome. Well, you hear all manner of things about careers, and sometimes you hear all manner of things about careers, and then later on you realize that was all a lie, So today we're going to break some of those myths and hear from the none other amazing Pastor Nicole. All right, and so we'll be joining in soon here to welcome. But I also wanted to bring a mic before we get on here. So Pastor Nicole, whenever you get here, let me know. All right. I want to make sure that we don't keep. You're watching from your mansion. I love that. That's the way to go. And we have our special guest is here. Who is excited? Our very, very special guest is here. Welcome. And I'm going to go right into it and introduce our very special guest that yes, we must we must honor that. And I know that it's going to be an amazing time. So we have today for the TAP show, the grand finale. Before I go on to talk a little bit about this special guest of ours, so far this is our first season of the TAP show. And it's been phenomenal. We've had 10 episodes so far. We've talked all things career. We've talked about personal development, professional development, shared a lot of tips. And I know that it's been impactful for any one of you that have joined. Now, if you have not watched it at all, or you've watched and you haven't watched some of them, I encourage you to go back and watch it. You can watch it right here on my personal handle, or go over to @Haritech _global. All right, and go ahead and check it out. You will be amazed. There's so much. I even go on and listen to it over and over because it's that good. So I encourage you all to do so. All right. So we've talked about how not to work another day in your life, how to drop the wheels, how to build your social capital. We've shared productivity tips. And the list goes on and on. How to live out your calling, how to gain a sense of clarity, of purpose. All of this in just one episode. So you can imagine what's going to happen in the next episode, in the next season. So watch out for the next season. It's going to be the early part of next year. All right. More information will be on that. But today is the grand finale. So I want us to make ready and welcome a very special guest. And I'm going to read her professional bio. So Pastor Nicole Uzo is a program manager and a co-owner of HML Consulting. She believes that with the right vision, resources, and systems, any person, professional, or organization can hack their lives. It's that simple. I love it. She said what? If nothing at all, you can walk away with just this and be okay. She said that she believes that with the right vision, resources, and systems, any person, professional, or organization can hack their lives. Her expertise in project management, agile, which is a Scrum slash Kanban, and Waterfall, a hybrid techniques, allow her to deliver projects within scope for clients in various industries. Currently, she serves as a program manager and PMO lead at an American multinational technology corporation, where she leads engagement with cross-functional teams and drives alignment to target business impact for strategic outcome. What a bio. We're not even done yet. She is responsible for developing and managing the overall content operation process and providing guidance and one-on-one coaching to content teams. Nicole holds a bachelor's degree in corporate innovation and entrepreneurship from the Pennsylvania State University and is a certified project manager, Scrum Master, IT Service Management Professional, and Network System Administrator. Now, I know I'm not going to disclose our very special guest's age, but I'm reading all of this and she is under 30. She's under, I don't under 28. Amazing young woman that has done so well in her field. And so I want us, with a warm welcome and a special welcome. I know what about. Let's welcome the one and only. I mean, she's also a pastor. I didn't tell you that. Pastor Nicole. I want you all to welcome her. Pastor Nicole, if you could send a request here so we can see you and add you here. Yes, that's it. I hope you are ready. I am excited. Oh, don't disclose the age. A very young, amazing, solid woman. That's it.
Thank
Welcome.
you so much. Oh my gosh, I feel like that bio is, maybe I should have toned it down a bit.
That is I think this is the tone. If you have allowed me to write the bio for you, I think this is like on a level of 1 to 10. I would say this, you toned it down. You really, because there's so much that you didn't add to it. And I mean, wow, what an inspiration. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for, taking the time to chat a bit. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to chat. I know, and she's beautiful. Look at that. Look at her. The beauty is just radiating right now. I think, are we ready? So PNU, as we affectionately call you, welcome.
Thank you so
Thank you for being here for the grand finale and being willing to share your expertise and things that you have learned so far with us. But before we go on, I wanted us to, address some things first so that we are very aware of why we're here. Now, this is not about a job. How do I land the dream job? This life we're having right now. It's about building a career. When we talk about career versus job is, in the sense, I'll say, your profession, something you do. But then your career is something that you as an individual get to build. And the job is one of it. Other things that we're going to talk about are part of it. So I want you to, fasten your seatbelt, because we're going to go on a journey. Or we're going to build something right now. And we're going to share with you the key elements that you need in building a career that would last a lifetime, in a sense, go on and on and on, right? Certain things that you put in place here. And so now that we've established who is ready to build a career, who is ready? Who is ready? I know I am. Awesome. So let's get right into it. So PNU.
Yes, ma'am.
So, as we talked about, there are different components to building a career. Now, before we get into it, if you were to look back 7 years ago, where you are now, do you see all of this happening 7 years ago?
I have to say, well, first of all, 7 years ago, I just graduated from high school. I was like 16 and ready to go to college. And I was convinced that I was going to be a lawyer.
Really?
Yeah, I've been told so many, like from different people, that I was really good at confrontation, I guess, or argumentative. So in my mind, I'm like, yeah, it's law school. Like that's my natural God-given gift. So
Mm-hmm.
I did always know that success was my birthright, at least 7 years ago, because I gave my heart to Christ when I was 9. So by the time I was graduating high school, I was like 16 or so. I sort of had I knew that no matter what happened, no matter what I chose, no matter which way I went, like we're going to be okay. You know what I mean? Like we're going to be successful. But I don't think, as far as like my career development goes, I would have probably ever guessed. And I think it speaks to just the genius of following, just keeping, just going along, right? And just following God's plan for your life and not stressing too much about like the little details, because you always find your way. I don't know how else to, but yeah, that was me 7 years ago.
So, so I think one thing that helped you was not stressing about the little details.
Absolutely. I kind of knew already in my heart that it's gonna work out. It's gonna
So
work
when
out.
you were going to college, what was your mindset like? Were you going to pursue law, or you were still in that figuring out stage? What was it when you got to college?
Sorry, but just really quickly, I realized I've been saying this in my head, but it hasn't come out. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. I am so honored and I'm really excited. And just to be talking to you alone, Pastor Keturah, you are the epitome of like everything, just success. And I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful. So
Thank
thank you. So I think to answer your question, you were saying, what was my mindset like? Definitely partly like parental influence, of course, as we all have. But also just personally, I just thought that I didn't have any other way. Like there wasn't anything else that made sense for me. I was not even looking at like, okay, what, and part of it is I don't think I really even knew myself or gave myself that opportunity to explore, what is it like, which areas do you bring value? What is it that you carry or you can do? I was just kind of thinking surface. Of course, I have these
you.
choices. I'm either doctor or lawyer, engineer, or like nurse. So I might as well do law because it fits more with my personality, and that was just the mindset.
Mm. And then you said it fits with your personality. I like that. Thank you so much. Now, and I know there's so many work, and so now let's dive in to the components. As you're building a career, there's certain things that you need. And what are these things that you need? Okay. So you walked in. So I want us to create this picture. You walked into school with an idea of what you wanted to do based off of your personality and some things you've heard. But here you are. It's not even the same what you're doing right now, right? But anyway, so in for the Tap Show, when we did like a 3 series where we talked about I don't want to work another day, and that was a very popular series. And one of the things that we discussed was the 7 gifts that each and every person can identify with at least one. So my question to you is, of these gifts, and the gifts, and I'm going to list them. One is the gift of insight, service, teaching, inspiration, giving, leadership, mercy. Okay. And if you want to know more about it, go ahead and watch the season 1, episode 6 live Tap Show, and then you get more details on that. So I want to find out, I believe that the grace, I call it, the grace gift, I believe that each and every person, if you are able to identify your grace gift and use that as one of the determining factor of what the direction you want to go to, it will not steer you wrong. So my question to you is, what are your grace gifts, and how do you see that in how do you see it sprinkled, in a sense, in the things that you're doing now?
It's not sprinkled, it's poured.
Fair.
I did dumped out the whole container. That's just everywhere. But the two that resonate the most with me, sorry, I have my notes on my screen, but would be the leadership
Leadership, okay.
and insight.
Mm,
And I find that those two, if you kind of put them together, you kind of already that's a
what you
description I do, right? Firstly, having the ability to not even like because I'd ever put myself in a leadership position, but from the time I was in school, even before I went to college, to just working on group projects, to, you know, even in my everyday life, finding myself in these leadership positions because I presented myself and because of the ideas that I had for moving forward. So that is just something that I see it every day, obviously, as a program manager and as a lead of the PMO at my company, and now as an entrepreneur.
Makes sense. Yeah.
It's naturally, you know, what I have to do every day. And I find that it helps me in that I don't really even have to struggle for people to follow my lead, because it's something that maybe, and you know, I actually need to go back myself and watch season 1 episode 6, because you know, I'm wondering sometimes to myself, like, why are these 40-something-year-old 50-something-year-old people listening to me? Like, you know, but that's just kind of there. And then insight, you know, because for me at least, when I get, you know, an idea, I will literally, and this, I can't take credit for it, it has to be the Holy Spirit, map out the entire process from end to end, which is something, a really necessary skill for what I do. But that has been, you know, one of the key factors to a lot of the success of a lot of my projects in my day-to-day life, in ministry, and at work, different things like that, because I have that ability to sort of just see ahead and map, okay, we're going to need this, we're going to need this, we're going to need this, I need to assign this and this and this, and this, you know, these are the dates we need to hit in order to get to our goal. So I'd say those two, and this is very heavily integrated into what I do every day.
So did you always, has this always been there? Maybe in the past you may not have called it, oh, okay, I have the gifts of leadership in, you know, in leadership, and I have the gift of insight. But has it always, if you can look as far back as you can remember, has it always been there?
As far back as I can remember, I would say probably not. I do recall and this is one of my earliest memories, but I was probably in like the first or the second grade, and I was like 5 or 6 years old at the time. And I remember sitting like it's so weird. I remember this because that was a defining moment in my life. I won the spelling bee like 6 times growing up. Like that was my thing. And I remember sitting with a group at my primary school, and they're asking, how do you spell airplane? And bear in mind, I went to a British school, so we spell aeroplane, A-E-R-O, like the British way, at least at the time. And I remember sitting with these like 5 other kids, and they're telling me, no, your answer is wrong. And it's 5 against 1. So I'm like, okay, but I was the group rep, so I had to go in front of the class and write out on the board an answer that I knew was wrong. And do it with my full chest. And then still take the heat of the teacher saying, no, that's wrong. And I'm looking at these people like I told you, but at the time I didn't have that leadership. Hey guys, you know, trust me. I think this is why. So some of my earliest memories are of me not, you know, not exemplifying what it means to be P and U and the B. Sorry, the comments are hilarious. But I haven't always had that, and to even think back now and where I felt like that changed. It would, and I'll always go back to the Holy Spirit and His influence in my life, because there was something that really clicked when I went to Christ. That just like from there, the boldness was just I haven't always been like this. And if you ask people who knew me when I was younger, they'll tell you the same thing. I wasn't always like a leader or really bold. Like it's interesting to see it. But
PNU, you said something, but I want to bring your mind to it. Even, you know, again, my coach, a teacher mode has kind of also activated, because teaching is one of my greatest gifts. But the reason, and I want to bring your mind to it, the reason why that story stands out so much to you is because you have always had that leadership gift. That is why. If not, it wouldn't stand out to you. You know what
I could cry right now. That's profound. But I'm not even. That's so profound. Okay.
it meant a lot to you, because at that moment, if what you know now, you would have been able to defend that answer and said certain things. And that is where some people are right now. The gifts are right there. They are wondering why they feel a certain discomfort or not fulfilled in a certain area, because that gift is still knocking at your door consistently. And so when it clicks, when you come to terms with it, it's like that vehicle, you just keep on at the time. So that is why that moment is so precious to you, and you had to make terms with it, because there was something, the leadership gift, that was knocking and calling out for you to take a stand there.
Wow.
So it's always been there,
Wow.
PNU.
That's chills. Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Adams, for that. Wow. Okay.
You got it now.
I do. Okay.
Both of our gifts are being reflected. That's, I noticed it. I will have to tell you that. But I'm so glad. So it's obvious what you're saying now. And for the time I've known of you and we've connected, I'm not surprised at all of what you're doing. So my question is with you is, when you go out there, let's say with your profession, I don't like to use the word job, but when you go out there to your profession, does it feel like work when you find yourself displaying in this gift? You mentioned that sometimes you're amazed at how even people in their 40s and above are listening to you. How does it feel like? Does it, do you get in your element? How does it feel like?
Honestly, I feel like like I'm just in go mode. So I don't really, in the moment, it's just pouring of, and I'm really big on value. I'm really big on showing others, the things that I believe are apparent, but I know may not be apparent to everyone.
Yes.
So when I'm in that, I kind of feel like I'm in my element. It's not something where I'm thinking about, it's just, I don't want to say like I'm the expert, but many a times I can speak so boldly because I have sufficient backing, right? I have proof or research or expertise, that has gone into it. And so when I'm, just in my day-to-day, in my profession, or even when I'm working with clients, I have clients that will literally, one of my clients that literally told me, if you wrote a book today, I'll buy 1,000 copies, because they know that when I speak, and part of it, sometimes I don't even find myself, it's after the call where I'm like, oh, what was I, like, where did that come from? Because sometimes I might be even asked a question or something of the sort, and I'm not 100% sure on the answer. But my confidence and my ability to think intuitively, and pull and draw responses or solutions from, different places, just people will listen to you and they'll take what you say as word.
So what I'm seeing here, and I see, and it makes sense for anyone who is actually walking in their gift, what you see is a certain level of confidence.
Mm-hmm.
That is hot. A lot of times you hear it is this, and these are the steps you can do to be more confident. But when you are in your area, when you are displaying your gift, it comes with a certain level of grace. It comes with a certain level of in that word, confidence. So for me, I'm curious here. People may think, oh, PNU has the gift. No, PNU has this confidence personality, but, and then someone say, but I don't have that personality. So confidence, I'll have to work at it. But here what we're saying is that confidence actually comes from or stems from someone who is actually in alignment with their gifts. So the 7 gifts, again, go back and watch it if you have not caught the 7 gifts. If you have not identified your gifts, it is important. It's a key component in career building, period. There are 7 of them. Find out which ones stand out to you the most. For me, I am one of 2 of mine are, and when it comes to teaching and then support. I can talk to you on the phone, support you so much, you think you have wings, and you go out there, you're like, wait, I thought she said I could fly,
As to that.
And when you discover that you are in your element and you even, you're amazed at what you can do. Now, there's a lot more components, so we're going to dive right into the next one. Now, we've talked about the grace gift. Another one that is so key is interest. All right. Now, some maybe a year ago, there's some interest that you have. And then maybe the following year, your interest has changed. So one thing about the grace gift is it doesn't change. It sticks with you. But then your interest can evolve over time. So I want to find out that do you have, how are some interests, the interests that you have reflected in the things that you do overall? You know, everything that you do aside your profession, whatever you're doing, does your interest, what are your interests and how does it display in what you do?
Honestly, I'd say the one, okay, well, I'm not say one. There's, put my thoughts together. I know that at least for me, I have 1,000,000,001. Literally, my notes app is the largest space taker in my phone. And all that's in there is business ideas and different ideas and ideas. So although there are many different, areas or industries or whatever, one thing that I found is constant has been for me value. So no matter what I'm doing, like I probably shouldn't say this. I have some plans for 2023, for instance. And no matter where it falls, I find that the common goal, the common interest is how can I, provide value to a niche group of people or to, an underserved area, or how can I take what I know, something that's so maybe easy for me to catch or simple for me, and make that also, break it down in a way for other people to easily, pick up that same mantle. So I find that reflected
As the lead,
no matter what I'm doing. It's just it's going to be the backing or the driving force behind it. And so I'll just leave that there. But yeah.
so again, I guess after discovering more about gifts, when people are talking, I just see elements of it. Like you're just saying, so that they can carry the mantle. Of course, a leader will say stuff like that, right? You say something that's of value so others can carry that along. That's beautiful. Now, so in regards to your interest, whatever you do, you're saying that what gets your interest is making sure that there is value attached to what you bring, right? Okay, so I am, and then for everyone that is here, that's something, again, we are learning. I hope you're writing these things down. If you want, we've talked about the gifts, what are some interests? If you're building your career, you've got to have some interests. You've got to show what are the interests that you have. Remember, they could evolve over time, but they are something that you enjoy. I, for once, love science, was particularly chemistry. So if to neglect that solid interest of mine is to do myself a disservice and even others, So I am someone that, work with me. I work with people that, are not doing so well in school. And that's something when I discovered I had that interest. I will go for the ones that were not doing well in that particular subject, chemistry, and tell them, just be with me for this long. And whatever grade you're looking to get in that class, you would get it if you are willing to work with me. And I've seen people go from, from F's all the way to B. I mean, drastic change night and day. Why? Because my gift is in teaching, and then my interest is in science. It's in chemistry. So there's no way you would interact with me to learn chemistry and go the same. You understand? So that is something you have to learn as an individual, as an uprising, a professional, career, young professional. Make sure that your gifts and your interest, there is, some kind of merge. You're merging them and let it reflect in the things that you do. All right, in anything that you do. So that's component 2. Now, another component is your degree. Another component is your degree. What do you think? Is it important that we must put emphasis on our degrees? When you're going to college, I think of it as training. How important is that? You had your degree. I mean, this it says a degree in corporate innovation and entrepreneurship. Do you think that a role in what you are receiving today?
I don't say absolutely, but I will say yes. I have to rep my school in the comments really quickly because the Pennsylvania State University. What I mean, a gift from God, very, very specific direction. And my degree, like I said at the beginning of the call, I actually initially went to school. I applied to school with a political science, major. That was going to be my focus. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this and I'm going to go to law school. It's going to be so great. Before my first semester was even over, I went to talk to my advisor. I'm like, I'm not doing this. So let's find somewhere else. And I stayed in the Division of Undergraduate Studies for about a semester or two while I was figuring out where I wanted to go before I landed in business. And majoring or getting my degree, rather a business degree, really just getting that opportunity. And I don't want to talk about the degree as like a certificate, right, or as a piece of paper, but rather as the education, because I feel this all the time. My biggest surprise, coming from someone who had a 4.4 GPA, who graduated top 1% of their class in high school, coming from someone who excelled in school, but absolutely disliked school. I was great at math, great at English, great at all these subjects, but it was just terrible. I didn't like to do it. So coming, to university and getting what I felt like was an education for the first time, actually being excited to learn, to go to class, that changed everything for me. So my degree played a huge role in, career building, because it helped me, number one, streamline what I wanted to do. For the first time, I was attending or hearing, success stories and hearing people speak about things that literally lit a fire in my heart. I'm like, oh, I want to do that, and also, of course, just, going to, if you get a business degree, generally, you have to, take classes in accounting, take classes in finance, take classes in MIS, Management Information Systems, supply chain. You got to get the whole, a well-rounded picture. And so the skills that I was able to pick from each one of those, I mean, just completely, it just really set a really, really good foundation, helped as far as like even getting to know how to work with people, how to network, I had one whole class that was the entire semester was us running a business, actual business. They give you a business and you so yeah, I'm
that training, right?
so grateful. Training, absolutely.
Right there, that is education. And so that's amazing. I hear sometimes people take a class and say, where am I going to use this? If you find yourself saying that, stop yourself and ask yourself, where are you going with this this degree? Because the school, the degree is supposed to sharpen certain skills, supposed to bring certain awareness, supposed to solidify or enlighten you or teach you or train you. But if you're going through semester by semester taking courses that you have no interest in, I'm not talking about the how difficult the class is. Those are two different things.
Right.
You actually dislike the class. Not even the class, the whole semester. And then you blame it on, oh, the professor is not teaching right. You mean the whole semester, all your classes, none of it is on interest to you? And then I ask you, what do you want to be? Oh, I want to be a doctor. Oh, I want to be a lawyer. My friend. And none of the training means anything to you. Where are you going? It's important. Your degree is so important if you decide to go to college. While you are there, it's not to get a paper, as you said, Pia. I want us to really stress on it. It's not to get a paper. It's not to get a paper. It's about training. It's about training. Look, you built a business in class. Of course, it makes sense with your project management, your program, your project management degree. And look at how you can, what you've learned in class and your grace gift and your interest, and you are to formulate that. I mean, what an establishment. But then people think, I ask people, why are you going to college? It's the next thing to do. Sit down. That's $40,000. $100,000 of is the next thing to do.
I don't even want to. Yeah.
Give yourself a semester, a year. the school will be waiting for you. Sit down, okay? Sit down. So you're telling us that your degree is a training.
Mm-hmm.
Your degree should not necessarily dictate and say, because I got a degree in finance, then I'm going to be a financial analyst. The question is the training. What training did you get that aligns with you? So that when you go out there, please go ahead.
Also, that I think one of the key things, I'm really grateful for the year that I had in between in the division of undergraduate studies before I switched over to business, was they have workshops where they bring people and show us like different speakers, very successful multimillionaires, because my school alumni network is solid. And they bring us millionaires and tell us, like, this person got a degree in zoology, this person, some things I had never even heard of, this person got a degree in theology or fine arts. Can you guess their profession today or their career path today? And the person that got a degree in zoology ended up being like the president of a university. One of them ended up being, you know, a CFO, and he didn't even go to school for finance. So there's so many. It really opened my mind to, oh, wait a second, I don't have to, like, this is about, you know, the training, really. So that helped a lot.
You know, and thank you. So what we want to bring this as we move on to the next component is that, you know, sometimes don't if you feel the need that this is not the field you want to work or operate in. I don't want to use the word. You want, if this is the career field, if you see yourself in doing certain things, say this is not the field. The training that I'm getting in school doesn't resonate with me. I have to be honest with myself. It's not resonating. You have to seek help right away. An advisor, speak to a senior student, speak to a professor, whatever. If you, now that you know me, speak to me. And now that you know PNU, I'm sure she'll be open. I know teaching is not one of her grace, but hey, she has that. She has the grace for it. But, you know, seek help. Don't go another semester. I wanted to be a pharmacist, and PNU, you could not tell me anything. Like, teachers were, we can see your future. You know, they could see the teaching ability. They could see my interest in science. I said, no, pharmacy. It took me my final semester, my final year, when I was going to be as a senior, was when it dawned on me, like, oh, I did what happened. That's something I want us to talk about later. You know, it will lead down to it. The importance of opportunities. The opportunity I got, that I took advantage of it, steered me the right direction. I did an undergraduate research in a pharmacy school, and I did chemistry in the pharmacy school. I walked out of there that summer and I said, why am I so hard-headed? Why was I so hard-headed? It was right in front of me. I was in that environment that I thought I wanted to be in, but I was so connected to the chemistry, that there. And so opportunities are so key. If you want to figure out the direction you want, your gifts, your interest, your degree, and the next thing, PN, I want to talk about it. Are there some opportunities that you have taken advantage of that has fueled or has played a part in where you are today? Because I believe that, as those of you, whether you are an undergraduate, whether you are you are in school, whether you are working, there are tons of opportunities out there. So can you share on that?
Oh, I could go on for, I see notes. I keep on. I'm gonna try to keep this as short. I'll just list them. Especially when I was in school, but even now, I'll list the opportunities I took advantage of when I was in school. And if you knew me when I was in college, you knew that my school was really expensive, really expensive. It was upward of, I think, like $39,000 a year, $40,000 a year. So the whole degree is close to $160,000. And I was like, I'm not leaving here. I'm leaving here with something, okay? So I took every opportunity my school would sponsor if you wanted to attend a conference that was that would help you, whether it was pertinent to your degree or not. So every single conference, and for some reason there's so many conferences happening in the state of Pennsylvania, but every single conference that was offered, I went. Those that were on campus or off campus, They had oftentimes my college would host different thought leaders. So people who were, entrepreneurs or CEOs, CFOs, startup founders, different people like that. Every time they'd come to campus, I'm going to be front row.
That's
I'm
it.
asking questions. The third one is my school oftentimes would have, if you're in a specific class, or if you want to take a gen ed that comes with, or that you have the opportunity to earn a certification at the end, they'll offer that to you. So anything that I could get for free, you're paying for my entire certification, I'm doing it. Right now, my certs arsenal is pretty long because I'm taking all of them. If it's Microsoft, I already know Microsoft, I'm still going to take the course because it's offered. And then I think one of the biggest things, this is an opportunity, was the opportunity for mentorship. I worked as a teaching assistant my last 2 years of university, and I got the opportunity to be under a very intelligent, driven mentor who was the professor of who was actually someone who noticed me my freshman year, and I didn't realize until he asked me to be his TA my sophomore year. But it was just incredible to have that opportunity one-on-one for someone to just say, hey, you're doing this. I can see these gifts or these passions in you. Or, hey, there's even some of the grants I got in school where, because my mentors fought for me, they went to bat for me. Some semesters where I didn't have to pay for school or pay for certain things was because I had people warring to ensure that, this person, she's gifted, she's got to make it. And so that's probably one of the biggest opportunities. And then lastly, my school's alumni network is huge. If you've never heard of the Penn State Alumni Network, they are probably one of the largest alumni networks in the country, and they support heavy. And so having that, I would always go to, like, whenever my business school hosts alumni events. Even on LinkedIn, we have a booming community and we're always talking, but I'm always in there because, like I said, even after I've graduated, I'm still trying to get my money's worth. Okay.
That's oh yes. So you take advantage of these opportunities, wherever you are, whether you are a student, whether you are early in your career, even in your career, even in your profession, your place of work that you're in, there are opportunities. I'm a professor that's my profession. I teach chemistry, and there are always opportunities that is paid for. It's paid for to take a coaching course. Of course, it's in alignment with what I want to do. So of course I'm going to take advantage of it. When I was in school, conference, I never paid to go to a conference. But when you graduate and you're not an alumni, they'll put the dollar signs by your name. You should write. So whether you're in school, whether you are at your place of work, find out the opportunities that are there and take advantage of those opportunities. All right. They go along with, they not only save you money, they also give you valuable experience. And then it reassures or confirms the reason why you're on this direction. Like I said, I went to the pharmacy school to do research, and I realized that, man, I've come to that field, but actually what I've been running away from is right there. That's what helped me to go and get my degree in chemistry. And then here I am teaching chemistry, and so it's important. What if I didn't take advantage of that opportunity? I would have still gone on, which is still a great profession, but it just personally wasn't for me. So I am so glad. Is it UT? I'm coming, the UT.
Chemistry, are you amazing too? Honestly.
You said what?
I said University of Houston too. They really need. Ooh.
Hey, and man, before as we're moving deeper, I want to bring this. If you are still here and you don't know what your grace gifts are, go and watch the live. Someone was asking, right? Season 1, episode 6. You've got to identify that. It is so crucial. All right. We've talked about interest. I'm a teacher, so I have to repeat myself and make sure that I did that. We talked about interest, the importance. What are you genuinely interested in? Not what somebody else is interested in for you. What are you interested? Even right there in your career, you may be at a job position. You can even switch to another department, right? And because you don't Don't feel like, oh, I accepted the job, so this is it. No, whether you've accepted the job, wherever, you can still make things happen. All right, you can still make things happen. All right, so let's PNU. Thank you. We are learning so much. We are learning so much. So we've talked about opportunities. So I want to ask yourself, are there some opportunities that you're taking advantage of? Are there some opportunities that you're not even aware those are there? Please, wherever you find yourself, find them. Find them. All right. The next thing I wanted to find out, PNU, is that, and you touched a little bit on that regarding your mentor. How important is investing in your social capital? You know, you hear about investing and in stocks and all that, and we neglect a crucial part of it in career building. How can you share some example of how you've been able to leverage on that and invest in your social capital, and how has the return been like for you?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. First of all, I always remember, this rings so true in my mind, is my man of God, Pastor Chris, will always say, you don't have to learn from, and this is not verbatim, right, paraphrasing, but you don't have to learn from the mistakes that you make, right? You can learn from other people, and it's just so much less stress in life. So investing in social capital, for me, that is what it did. That it really cut out a chunk of my, even like with me now, I don't feel like I had to go through, this huge, whether it was self-discovery phase or, huge jump with me. When you enter the workforce, you have to start at a certain amount, and you have to start in this certain area. I skipped all of that. And that's a lot of what investing in yourself. So beyond having my mentor, who is someone who can say, maybe I'm considering an opportunity or I'm having doubts about something, he was able to say, oh, don't worry about it. This is the process. This is how it works. I can direct you and let you know. I'm going to give you the inside scoop. This is where you should be going instead. Try them. I'll just throw out a few other network opportunities. Like I always say, I have my alumni network on LinkedIn, and there's always, job announcements. And a lot of what they'll do is, or profession announcements, career announcements, I don't know. But what they do is they give those opportunities first to alumni of the university. So you have that opportunity there too. But then also one that's really often overlooked, but played a huge role for me, I'll name one of them, was when I was in college. It was called Women in Business, and we had so many great opportunities there where, you're getting to meet people, and there's people that I still talk to today that are in Fortune 100 companies, Fortune 50 companies, that can give me insight into certain, things. But then also Twitter. I know it may not seem like an investment, but there's something called like tech Twitter, or like, for some of you, I know for the mantra, but like some of you already kind of are aware. But the amount of opportunities, just one of my most recent certifications that I got certified in the Google Project Management course, and I'm now working on another one. It definitely costs, like, I think there's a monthly fee on Coursera of like $30-something a month or $60-something a month. I got it for free. And I don't think I've ever paid for a certification, even the ones that are like $400. Either my company pays for it, or I found a link on Twitter where, I don't know. I don't care what organization it is. I'm in moms. What's the call? This is an organization for moms that joined, but it works for it's open to all women. But they've given me many opportunities, paid for a lot of my certifications as well as just a lot of links and things I find on Twitter. So there's so many opportunities in the most unlikely places. But if you're willing to go out there, put yourself out there, network with people online. I had I wouldn't call her a mentor, but someone on Twitter that really spurred me towards where I am now, who started talking to me about how to get government contracts.
Wow.
And how to be overemployed. And just opened my mind to, oh my gosh, I didn't know that was possible. Oh my gosh, I didn't know that job title existed. So even now when I help other people, because I sort of do a little bit of career coaching, I'm saying, hey, you can look out for, I'm sure you've never heard of this, right? You can look out for this, or you can apply to this, or you can do this, or, look into this, because I have a solid network in multiple different places. But I just think your online communities are a huge resource.
Wow. So, unexpected places to find the gems. Thank you. So again, yeah, check out Twitter. I need to do better with Twitter myself. But again, what you're sharing is that so far, let's kind of recap a few things here. The underlining message is that career is something, honestly, that you get to build. So have you noticed that career is not just about my degree? You go for 4 years or so in getting a degree, and all of a sudden you get up and you say, okay, bold on your resume, I went to this school with this degree, get me the job. And there is nowhere where you've displayed your gifts in internships. There's nowhere where your interests are reflected. There's nowhere, it's almost like the degree should guarantee you the job. People want to see that you see yourself in the places that you want to be in. And so it is important that gets you to be connected to the right people. You have to invest in your social capital. You may be the best at investing in your stock. Congratulations. But can I tell you, your social capital will bring you returns like none other. Not only, like you said, it saves you money. You can jump ahead. It gets you the secret information, and there's certain information you will not find anywhere else.
And can I just add,
Yes.
that there's another organization that I would be so wrong if I did not mention. It wouldn't necessarily be social capital in a sense, or in every sense, but it was the place that I gained 99% of the experience that I have to speak with confidence, and that is the Love World Campus Ministry.
Yes.
I cannot begin to even describe how many skills I did you not how many skills I have developed in the campus ministry, how many opportunities I've gotten for leadership.
That's it.
Opportunities. When people say, I'm working with, I lead a team of product managers and I train them, and they're like, oh, this is so nerve-wracking. How are you not nervous? And I'm like,
Oh.
I've been speaking in front of people for ages. Like,
Win it. Yes.
The Nicole from before I got on campus and after, she always had that, but they're not the same person. Like, it's just such development and training that happens in the campus ministry. So I have to point that out. So
yes, I can't agree with you more, and me personally, being given the platform to also display my gifts also in the campus ministry has been a game changer. And so that's important, so key, that you have to find a place, as you and there is one of my colleagues shared something. It's called the Boss Network, and shout out to Dr. Selena Osei, came up with the Boss Network, and she talked about to have this sort of solid social capital, you must be able, there are 3 areas. So there's one up, right? So you relate with someone like a mentor, find a mentor, a supporter, or someone that can pour into you. There's also side to side. And it's interesting how the side to side is 2. That's where you have to also spend time to build. That's where a lot of your growth, your experiences, and things that you do happens there. So it matters where you are with the people, quote unquote, are at your level. Right. And also ensure that there is someone some people you're also pouring into. That helps you to sharpen your skill. That also gives you an understanding of this interest and also this gift. It gives you the opportunity to display it. It gives you the opportunity to learn and sharpen it. Gives you the opportunity to share ideas with others in that same terrain. It doesn't have to be in the same field, but like-minded individual who pull out of you. Oh, PNU, I need this, and then say, oh, I can do it, or I can, that kind of, and then someone that is waiting on your craft, is waiting for you to pour into them that which you have. If you're able to feel those directions, you realize that, man, stock is good. But my goodness, what an investment. Some things are only a phone call away.
Mm.
Forget it. Some things are only a phone call away. Some things are only eye. You just look eye to eye and that's it. There's some people in your love, you just look, you said, It's like there is that sense of understanding. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. So anyway, we could go on. We have so much. So let's keep it going. But all I receive. If you have any questions, it says someone said this shouldn't be free. Hey, when you're walking in your gift and you do what you do, you provide nothing but the best. All right. So if you have any questions, please post on there so that we can address it later. So Peony, we've talked about several things so far, and I want about 5 things that we've talked about. These are materials you need. So my question to you is, how have you gotten this in place? If not, at least we've told you can put this in practice. But Peony, I wanted to find out, are there other things that you would consider when planning for career or when building or when developing this career?
Yes, I think a lot of them we've already covered, like just generally your interests, what you enjoy, your skills, your experience. But one thing that I didn't realize I was considering was, my values or my priorities. I'm not the kind of person, this is personally, that's like, oh, I'm so excited to climb the corporate ladder. Like, I want to be VP. Please, no. I just want to be, anyway. So for me, I knew right off the bat, and this is just the understanding of your own core values. I knew off the bat that one of the main, values or priorities for me was work-life balance. Also social missions was also, those two primarily, right? And so I already knew that going in to whatever I'm doing. And also because my mindset, I wasn't desperate. That's one thing you have to let go of, in my opinion, once you're moving into career development or you're working towards a career, is you have to let go of I have to get a job, like, this way, like.
Yeah, let's pause, right? We have to soak that in right now. So you shouldn't be desperate, because you are going to add value wherever you find yourself. You are that person that has your gifts, your interests, your education, your networks, your opportunities, your training, all of that. And so when you show up, not give me anything you can find from the crowd. No, but really seeing the value that you bring. I like that. Please go ahead. I didn't want anyone to miss.
No, yeah, because they can smell it. They can smell it. They can. So come along. That's when you're planning for your career. You have to know your values. You have to know your priorities. You have to know what, you're willing to. Anytime I'm working with my career coaching, brethren, what I tell them is you have to be willing to walk away. I don't care if they're paying you $1 million a year. If they ask you to work on Sundays, that's directly conflicting with your values. So you must be strong as that person, because once they see that, they actually respect you a lot more, right? That's just career-wise, anyone you come in contact with. And then lastly, I would say maybe consider it goes back to value, but we're going to call it demand. As when you're, moving into a new career or developing your career, you wouldn't want to go into a role where it's like, oh, I'm going to be a note taker, right? Because we have technology that does that. So unless you're planning to innovate, right, you have to sit down and also, ask yourself the right questions and understand, okay, what is it that I bring, and how can I essentially show this to the world or bring this, out in a way that's relevant, that's useful, and that can actually provide value. So those 2 things primarily, I think, are other things that people should definitely consider.
And you have to be able to communicate that value. And when you've put certain things in place, you are aware of what you carry and what it is that you bring to the table, they would say. But that's so much. So very much, very, very important. There's a question that I didn't want us to miss that. So TK is asking, how do you merge or separate personal values with the organizational values?
Was that question for me?
Yes.
That's
I mean, we can vote, but hey, you are special. You have it.
That's a good question.
It is. It's a great question. Yes.
I think the way you separate, honestly,
So separate Separate or merge?
Or,
Yeah.
or separate. Oh, I feel like I have the answer to this, and I know that I do, but it's a bit complex.
Mm-hmm.
Organizational values will always trickle into, and that's if you plan to work for an organization or a corporation, they will always trickle into, your day to day and what you do. But I think the most important thing is before you, and it goes back to the idea of not being desperate, before you even get into a role or choose to further your career at a specific organization, is making up your mind that these are my values. I'm not trying to, and when you use the word merge, I don't ever try to merge. I feel like, pardon?
There has to be some alignment. I think.
Yeah, because I'm looking for what works for. I'm not trying to figure out, okay, the organization is kind of here, but because guess what? Even if they present a front at like the interview or whatever or online, it's always going to catch up to you. It's always going to conflict. And so because I'm not desperate, I'm not willing to just accept anything. I'll interview for a year if that's what it takes. I mean, which it never takes that long, but for as long as it takes to ensure that we are aligned and this is a place that I know will work for me and with me, and just be aligned with my values and what I take seriously. Because if you compromise, and I tell people this all the time, I believe in compromise in a lot of other situations. When it comes to where you're going with your career, if you're not careful, you will end up in a position. Anyway, we'll just leave it at that.
Oh, time. Tell you what, I know some questions are coming in, and we'll have to find a way to talk about this questions, because I think 2 questions came about work-life balance, I guess, since you brought it up. And so I'll just give you a moment to think about it, and then maybe a minute or less you can tell us about it. But really, we could go on and on and on. This has been so amazing. And I want, as we run off with this, your career is beyond a job.
Yeah.
It's beyond something you wake up and go and do and you are being paid for it. And I don't want to get deep or there are certain things that I can't even say it here. That's a whole new topic. But I want to bring your mind. It's something that you build that allows you to display your craft and your value everywhere you go. That is career building. That is career. So it's not about I work on so and so company. Yes, that's a job. You're working for them or you're working with them, a profession. But your career is all inclusive. All right. Everywhere you go, you're displaying your gifts, your interests, even in helping with others, training, you're being trained. All of it is all part of the career. So when we think about it, let's move away from degree to a job. It's beyond that. The job gives you an opportunity to display and provide solution. Not you at the mercy of the company. The company is almost like an exchange. I bring my value, and money cannot obviously buy, but it's compensated. Let's take that. But I'm adding my value to wherever I find myself. But that alone is not my career. So I hope that we can take today and recognize that each and every one of us have a part to play in what we do with our career. So as we are rounding off here, Kian, I wanted to find out, what is the next step for you? If you were to look at 5 years, is it crystal clear the direction you want to go to? What is the feeling like? How excited are you about the upcoming year?
Should curtail my smile. I'm incredibly excited. For me, it's fairly clear. I've gotten a lot of guidance and direction from the Holy Spirit, and one thing that the Spirit Lord always tells me, and I think I hear this phrase so much, is don't work on having, work on being, because with what you are, you will have. And so for the next 5 years, for me, I am, and not even, I mean, I have a 1-year plan, a 3-year plan, a 5-year plan, and it is, number one, I'll just give a little bit of insight into where I'm at currently and what I'm working on building for the next year and then into the next 5 years, is I've just launched my consulting company, and I've just also brought on a business partner. I am excited. Right. We're about to scale, and not just, thinking about finances or anything like that, but really get to the point where we're providing value beyond just when you're working at a, you know, corporation and exchanging that for just a select few, but this is about to be, you know, worldwide. And so the goal is to use our wealth of knowledge, our expertise and experience, and honestly the wisdom that we have to equip young professionals, organizations, and everyday people also with the necessary tools to hack their lives. That's what HML stands for, is Hack My Life. With consulting, training services, digital learning tools, and so much more. So that's the 1 year plan. And 5 years from now, I just know it's going to be, there's so much color. There's so much, we're scaling, you know, just worldwide. So I'm excited. I'm really excited for that. And I'm grateful to God for the ideas that he brings. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh, good. There's so much, but I know we can only we take enough to work with, and then, you know, but we've got to have you back to do part 2. But yeah, Hack My Life. It's that simple. And I can see the sense of excitement you have in your voice. You know, sometimes when I ask people, what do you see in the next 10, 5? Oh my goodness. It's like the next 5 years seem like a big weight, like a block has been dropped on their shoulder. Just the thought of like, where do I go? But really, if you're putting the things we've talked about today in place, you realize how much you are in control, or, you know, of the direction that you're going, because everything you have, God has placed inside of you. And so each and every one of us here today recognize that God has given each and every one of us a gift, unique gifts that we have to come to understand and operate in it. And also we are all different, and so we have different interests, and those interests helps us, it's almost like effects, to merge with our gifts to produce, you know, someone say magic, I mean, and beauty. Whatever you do, when you know you're building something, is when you look at it and there's just an inner joy that can be quenched. When you know you're building something that is of value and you're in the right direction, you don't seek validation outside. It's right there inside of you. Okay? And you realize that you'll be amazed at what can be displayed out of you. The beauty, the being able to become the better version of yourself. So as we live here, in the next 5 years, if I were to ask you, if you don't know anything at all, saying that with what I know now, I see my 5 years being the better version of myself, and you seek to find out what that version is. It has been an amazing time, PNU. Thank you so much. Everyone, let's give it up. Let's say a big thank you to our special guest.
Thank you so
Our
much.
top show finale. So any final words to encourage any young professional? What would you say as we round off?
Thank you so much once again for the opportunity to be here, Dr. Adams. I'm so grateful, and this has been incredible. Final words would honestly be, before I was where I am today, I had seen it, I had walked in it, I had lived it.
That's it.
I lived it every day for years. When I was younger, when I was 16 and the Lord was filling my heart with ideas, I'd walked in it.
Oh man.
And the place that I'm going, why I'm so excited for 5 years to come, why I'm so excited for 2023 is because I've smelt. I know, I've visioned, I've lived it, I've seen it. And that's, I can't say much more. You know, if you get it, you get it.
You
but
get it.
You just got to get it. So thank you, Pastor.
And so, you know, that's what PN is telling us. You've got to see it. Vision it, and that's something that I know a very special young lady that I know is very dear to you, PNU, said something, and that's by Chelsea, said vision is an attractive force. Because it would attract with you the resources, the people, and everything needed to make that dream come. That is what vision, it is that attractive force. People go out there chasing the job, the money. They go out there chasing the resources and the people. But first, see yourself, live it from now. That 5 years, what do you see? Let that stare you. Are your gifts, your interest, your degree, or, you know, in alignment? Do you see that? Can you feel it? Can you feel that presence right now? Can you feel it? When you can feel it and you can see it, that vision is an attractive force. And make it plain on your mirror, on constantly, wherever, make it plain. And that will be able to attract the right resources, the right people, the right training to you. And then you know that this one right here is adding value to my world. What an amazing journey. That's what we have. So I'm not looking to the left and to the right to be like someone else. But what I am looking to become daily and consistently is the better version of me. There's only one PNU. I cannot be PNU. There's only one. There's only one. It has been amazing. PNU, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. And I really appreciate it. Thank you. We'll definitely come back for part 2. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pastor.